world? My name is Nicholas Montez, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Nicholas Montez. Welcome back to another YouTube channel, everybody. I'm so excited to have it all back here together again. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing the next Steven Spielberg film in my Steven Spielberg series, Journey to West Side Story, and we are talking about Hook. So this is the the Steven Spielberg film based off of Peter Pan. And this is basically a very new story because Peter Pan is grown up, and if you know the Peter Pan story, Peter Pan does not want to grow up. He wants to stay a kid. So that's what this film explores. As he has a family, but then Captain Hook tries to come back and get revenge and create this war between the Lost Boys, Peter Pan and Captain Hook, and all this stuff. So I was actually kind of excited for this film because my sister loves this movie as well. So, without further ado, let's start talking about Hook. So for me, I actually really enjoyed this movie. First off, the way it brought back the classic stuff that you loved about the Peter Pan story was just fantastic. We'll get into that in just a little bit with the good, but let's talk about it. So, the way it kind of explored Peter Pan as he basically forgot how to be a lost boy in Neverland. Because he's been away from Neverland for so long, we don't know how long, because he's played by Robin Williams, so obviously he's like a big old dude. So obviously he looks like he's been for a long time away from Neverland, and that he hasn't been there in a long time. So it's been the normal human world has kind of changed him. And so I thought that was kind of cool, as you know, he also like deals with like jobs, and like he doesn't go to his kids' games or stuff like that. And it kind of has, it is kind of underdeveloped, which we'll get into the bad, but as you go through the movie, there's some emotions that are created through that. And like, Robin Williams plays Peter Pan very well, plays Peter Pan very well in this movie. I thought he did a really good job. But really just kind of doing this scenario of what if Peter Pan actually grew up and he had a family and then he had to return to fight Captain Hook. That concept is actually kind of cool because you have this scenario where obviously the main story is Captain Hook kidnaps Peter Pan's kids in order to fight him, and he goes and tries to save his kids, but because he's been away from Neverland for so long, he doesn't know how to be a lost boy anymore. Like he's hopeless with it. And it's kind of cool the way they explore that, as he basically is like he's afraid of heights now, and like he can't fly, and like it's kind of an emotionality as like he tries to save him. So it explores themes about that, and then as he remembers, you get the redemptive arc, and yeah. So it also added something I liked with the imaginary food fight. I actually really liked. I thought that was fun. It was that kind of a clever way to do with this type of story, and especially with Robin Williams. Robin Williams is such a good actor. Rest in peace. But besides that, the movie just has a really good set of actors. First off, we gotta talk about Dustin Hoffman, who plays Captain Hook. To be honest with you, I was a bit weird that they casted the guy that played Master Shifu in Kung Fu Panda play Captain Hook. Now technically, the Hook came out before Kung Fu Panda, but I saw Kung Fu Panda way before Hook. So, as much as a Kung Fu Panda film fan I was a bit nervous because I just didn't know how he would play it. But he plays the role of Captain Hook very, very nicely, and I thought that it did great for it. Another thing is Julia Roberts as Tinkerbell, really good in the role. She had this really cool, good style, this really great interactions with adult Peter Pan that I actually really liked, as they were talking about like the past times and have her helping him remember the adventures that they all had, and it was very cool. The kids in here, Peter Pan's kids, are of course fun characters, but they're not big characters. And you know, some of the action sequences are cool, and yeah, so I thought it was a fun story and a fun concept. I thought it worked. Unfortunately, it does have a couple of issues, so let's move on to the bad. And I think the problem here is, like I said in my review, in my good part, I think the way that they developed Peter Pan's little story about him missing the games, it wasn't really developed that well, because it was kind of setting up that he makes promises to his kids, but then it just goes on this adventure, and they don't really develop that plot line much. And also, when you were thinking about, and also like there was this death in the movie with the main like Lost Boy leader, and to be honest with you, when Captain Hook killed that guy, I didn't really feel any emotion going into it. I really didn't, and I think the reason for that was because he wasn't that much of a likable character. You don't really have any character development with him, so he wasn't really that likable. And then also, some of the effects with Robin Williams flying as Peter Pan just did not look very good. Oh, one more thing before we give you my scores, that I actually was supposed to mention in the good, but we're in the bad now, so I can't go back. But the music in the movie, as a Steven Spielberg film, it's amazing. That's all I gotta say. So before I give you my final score, be sure to tell me down below, what were your thoughts on Hook? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Were you right in between? And are you guys gonna be watching it for West Side Story coming out in December? And what were your thoughts on Hook when it first came out? Because there are some people that absolutely love this movie. There's some people that are like, this movie's very controversial. So without further ado, let's get started talking about my scores. Alright, so that's it for my scores, but we're not done yet. We have one more thing to do before we end this video, and that's to see where does Hook land in my Steven Spielberg ranking of all 18 films up to Hook. So let's get started talking. So let's see where Hook lands. Alright, so that's it for my Hook review, as well as my updated Steven Spielberg ranking. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. My Instagram is Marvel6, and my TikTok name is Marvel1Fan. If you guys don't understand those names, head to my bat section so you can follow me on all social medias. I'm also on Letterboxd. It's in as Instagram, Marvel_6_, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.